Damn.
All right, so we've had a couple hundred miles and some hard miles on these carnivores now. So I feel like we've got the experience
and
data, I guess you could call it, to actually give like a real review on what we think of these tires and how they perform up against, you know, we've compared them to 2 or 3 different tires that we'll get into. This tire, which is a
Tusk Terabyte
and a 30 as well. And then we've also compared them to the EFX Motoclaw, which is a 30, and it's actually still the spare I'm running. And then our one other rig that we run has the Maxxis Rockzillas. So we'll throw in some clips between the Rockzillas and the Carnivore in like our last video. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. But it's kind of obvious in one situation on like the difference between the traction that the Carnivore had compared to the Rockzilla. Not saying that the Rockzilla isn't a good tire, but we were in like a really loose
mud, snow, wet, ice kind of terrain.
Yeah.
I don't know how you'd call it, but it was slick.
Oh no. Right, and these are definitely an aggressive tire, which is cool, but it is one of the, I'd say, downfalls is, you know, it's like a softer compound, but I guess that's a good thing and a bad thing. You know, if you're running like a lot of high-paced trails, or if you ride yours on the road, some people are lucky enough to live where that's a thing. They might wear out, or they will wear out fast, I would assume, you know.
Yeah, compared to something like that.
Yeah, that's what that would be for. But yeah, people say that, you know, the sidewalls and stuff have issues, and that it's a light compound. But I don't know, how many miles do you think you got on these?
Probably like 300 now.
Yeah,
it's all been like, so I guess we haven't even gone trail riding with them.
No.
So we can't really compare it to like our up north is like a sandy, I don't know, sandy like berm trail. I don't know how you'd call it. The northern Wisconsin trails.
Yeah, it's almost like snowmobile. It is a snowmobile trail, so high paced. You know,
you're just saying, yeah, you're ripping, but
yeah.
And then these haven't been there, but it's probably got 300 miles of just straight, you know, off-road parks, rock crawling, and whatever else, you know, at an off-road park. And
yeah, so I mean, you might hear 300 miles and think it's not that much, but they've definitely been abused, and it's a hard 300 miles. So I feel like it's a good time to review these.
Yeah, and in them 300 miles, we haven't had a single issue with them.
Yeah.
Not one. No plug patch, no sidewall thing. I'm running 10 PSI in them.
Yeah,
People say don't run that low, but
that's another thing. When I got them after him. I was running the Motoclaw before, and then it was just obvious to us that the Carnivore was better. So I switched to the Carnivore as well. And then when we switched, we went to windrock. And my first trip on him, I was running 15 pounds and he ran 10. And that was just kind of like our way of trying to tell the difference between.
Any of us got a pinch flat or whatever.
To kind of try and find the sweet spot. So, you know, he hasn't had any issues at 10. So I'm probably going to drop down to that.
Yeah, I mean, just all around really good tire. They hook up in mud, they're good, and sand, and you know, hard pack, rocky trails. I mean, snow, ice, rocks. They've literally been a great tire. And I mean, we're hard on them. I mean, people with like Polaris's and stuff, you know, you can hit an obstacle kind of slow, whereas we, you know, we kind of have to use momentum on our side with these machines. So they've taken some serious hits on like just a 3 foot straight up ledge. You just bash into it. And
Yeah, for sure.
One single issue with the tire at all.
Yeah, if you guys seen our windrock videos, you've seen that they got abused on those like rock ledges because, you know, coming as a YXZ, we can't just crawl things as slow, so we kind of got to bump everything and use momentum. You know, they are running 70-30 gear reduction, heavy flywheels, so we can crawl pretty slow, but we do definitely have to bump things a little harder than you could with the Polaris.
Yeah, especially on like the hilly stuff.
Yeah, like starting on a hill, you kind of just gotta give her.
Just rev her up and dump her.
Yeah, you know, like more aggressive of a tire, you could potentially, you know, have more breakage and stuff like that. But with the YXZ, if you guys are watching and have a YXZ, we really haven't had too many breakage issues, like as far as axles and things like that, and we definitely, you know, abuse it. So I'd say it's a good all-around tire. You know, it's nothing too crazy. It is a 30.
They're super lightweight though. That's another really cool thing about them is they're probably one of the lightest aggressive tires you can buy, and I think that really helps for keeping breakage down and everything else. You know, obviously a heavy weight on the outside of the wheel is going to be, you know, harder on things than if it's light.
Right.
So that's another thing that really intrigued me when I bought them, because they were super lightweight, and I just heard nothing but good reviews on them besides the sidewalls. But like we said, we've never had an issue.
Yeah. People will probably say that they've had, you know, their bad experiences with them and stuff, which this is just our opinion and our review, you know, and you guys, if you guys watch our videos, you see, but, you know, we haven't had one of those unlucky moments where it gets pinched in a weird way, but I wouldn't say they're by any means like weak to where normal riding you're gonna, you know, destroy them or anything like that. But
yeah, I mean, we've done straight rocky hill climbs in Tennessee, where it's just sharp boulders going up a hill wide open. I mean, and like you can see there's no like deep scratch grooves or nothing. I mean, nothing's been torn. They've been wearing considerably well for burning them off.
Yeah, for sure. They still have really good tread life, you know, but like we said, we haven't ridden any kind of roads or any kind of high speed stuff, which we do think they would wear down pretty quickly if you're using your machine for that. So we're gonna run, you know, different wheels and tires for that type of riding, which we don't do a whole lot. So that's why we went with these tires. We've also seen people debating on, you know, whether or not you can get away with a 32 or a 30, or like what the best option is out there for the YXZ. And with gear reduction and a heavy flywheel and aggressive rock crawling, in our opinion, a 32 with the 70-30, I feel like it's a really good like crawl ratio to where if you put a 32 on, it would hurt that, and you know, it would kind of affect that in a negative way.
Yeah, I'd agree.
On top of my 30s would rub just a little bit at full flex, full turn, but that also wasn't stock height suspension. That was lowered a little bit.
Yeah, mine did the same too. So if you did like a G out or something turned, mine would rub.
Yeah.
But
yeah, mine would be like full flexed and turned, and you'd barely feel it like in on the inner fender here, like where your foot is, but you can't even really.
It's like right here is where it rubs, but
yeah, you really can't see much. But
would be fine. But
yeah, so if you are running stock height, a 32 would probably be fine. but just don't really know. It all depends on your riding, you know. Like if you don't do as slow paced stuff and you have gear reduction, you know, like you don't do hardcore rock crawling, I'd say a 32 would be fine.
Yeah.
But you know, like the rock garden type stuff where you want to really chug and go slow, like I wouldn't want to be any taller gearing than a 70-30.
No. And I mean, even we're like on that last snow ride we did at the cliffs, if you guys watched that video, I mean, we were running second gear. So they had the power to spin in a looser condition. They could spin the 30s in second. So I don't, you know, if you bump it up to a 32, it might not be able to spin them in second gear and hold it. And that would really, I mean, it'd be like bridging the gap in between first and second. I don't know. I don't know. Guess we've never tried them, but
yeah, maybe
I'm not planning on switching to 32 when these wear out, or if I want to try something new, I'm gonna stick with a 30 just because if I feel like it's proven.
Yeah.
They just work really well.
Another positive to sticking with a 30 is, you know, it's if you go with a 32, you're gonna have more strain on your axles and your diffs and everything like that. So, you know, we've had pretty good luck with breakage, you know, for how we ride, I'd say we've had pretty good luck with breakage.
Yeah, we haven't really broke much of anything at all.
Yeah, a couple. I've broken one axle.
Come into the door.
One front axle is literally all I've broken. Josh broke one front axle, but you know, we're really hard on him. So I mean, it's wide open. Josh broke his literally wide open and full cut, climbing like a rock ledge hill. So I mean, that's like the hardest condition you could have on it.
Yeah, diff locked up, you know.
Yeah, right. And my axle broke in a weird spot, but I think it was just like stress cracked or something from a previous ride, because mine just kind of broke on a, I don't know, a strange climb, I guess you could say, but really can't be too mad about it, considering they're still all stock shafts, for anyone who's wondering that.
Yeah, and they're cheap.
Yeah.
I had two go, they weren't broke. I've never been stranded from a broken shaft, but when I pulled them apart, they were super tight. So I pulled them apart and they were all like stress cracked around the CV part. I don't know, it was really weird, but we got them as spares now.
Yeah.
So they never really broke, but I'm sure they were on their way. And that was after 2,100 miles of just some serious shit. So
Yeah, that was after going to Black Mountain, which you guys haven't seen. That was before we started making videos, and he wasn't on gear reduction yet. So, and anyone who's been to Black Mountain, I mean, that place is rowdy.
that was a true testament to.
So it was just an absolute bashing on the machine. I wish we recorded back then, because it was literally limiter or nothing. You know,
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like I went straight into gear reduction when I got a YXZ, so I can't even imagine anything else.
Yeah, 27's lower.
It was fun. Oh shit. And I was in a
glory days.
turbo razor at the time. And I switched to this, but
But guess who didn't break anything that whole trip?
you?
Me.
Yeah. Yeah, I broke an axle, a stock axle on my turbo.
And some diff.
Yeah, and that was the end of my life on my front diff. And
Josh's front diff was.
yeah, Josh's front diff went. So if anyone's ever wondering why we made the switch, or if they even knew that we switched, you know, some of you guys probably do. But yeah, two of us switched from Polaris to YXZ to give him a try, because he had such good luck with this one. He's had this one the whole time. And I'm pretty happy with the switch. You know, I feel like all the machines have their flaws. And
Yeah, they're all gonna break.
yeah, I mean, it's no 72-inch wide long travel machine, but for what we do, we don't really need that.
No.
You know?
And it's just a ton of fun shifting gears.
Yeah,
When you're
yeah, it's a
bouncing
completely
under
different.
gear, there's
Yeah.
something about it that's, I don't know, it's really fun. And if you do any kind of track riding or even trail riding, I mean, you're not just sitting there. You're literally just like one with the machine almost, and it's just a lot of fun. hard to explain unless you've ridden one.
Right. Yeah, it's a different experience. It really is. Like coming from, I started with an 800S, and then I had a 1000S, and then I had an 18 turbo. And, I was pretty used to that style of riding, of just low or high, but when you go to a Yamaha with a full stick, it's awesome.
It's a driver's machine for sure.
Yeah. Not to bash the players or anything. They have their upsides and these have their downsides. Everything has their own.
It's all personal opinion.
Yeah, for sure. These were the Tusk Terabytes, and this was what was actually on my turboed Razor that I was.
You could throw up that video too of us at the Badlands, that sand climb.
Yeah.
You could totally tell a difference of these on a turbo Razor versus stock YZ on 27-inch bighorns.
Yeah, before gear reduction.
Yeah, before gear reduction.
Yeah, it was just pipe and tune.
Yeah.
And that was all tire. That really wasn't machine. Like it was. I just couldn't go anywhere in the sand with these things. And I mean. Obviously, you can see why. Like, it's not, as an aggressive tire, as aggressive as with tire, but just our review on that. I got these things pretty cheap, and
yeah, but we never had a flatter issue with these either.
Yeah,
right?
no.
They got a lot of miles on them with turbo power, just doing burnouts and cookies in the road. And
Yeah, these things I've seen donuts. And
I'm sure
and everything, and they do last really well too. So if anyone's looking for a good tire, and they run trails a lot, or they're registered and they're on the roads, I'd highly recommend that tire. It seems
riding in the rocky desert trails. I'm sure they'd last a long time, and they've held up good.
Yeah. We want to do a trip out to Moab next spring, and it kind of intrigues me on like what would be better on that type of surface. Something like this with a really like close contact pattern, or the Carnivore.
Yeah, but you gotta remember too how hard these things.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. The Carnivore is nice and soft,
Yeah.
so that's definitely an upside
But
of
the
that.
Rockzillas, I mean, that might be like if we all go again, we could do another review on the Rockzillas because those should be technically better than these because it's the same rubber compound, just a lot less spacing. So,
Yeah.
For rock crawling and just straight rock, I'm sure they do really well.
Right.
But around here, I mean, we don't really have much of that. It's pretty open of terrain, so.
Yeah, a lot of the places we ride, it's kind of slick and like loose and muddy.
Yeah.
So that's why we went, with something like that. But yeah, nothing but good things to say here about the Carnivore. So if anybody's contemplating buying them, we highly recommend.